pour for the taters. So you see, color's pretty good, but for 16-year-old whiskey, you would hope that we'd have a nice kind of traditional amberish bourbon color here. Getting a little bit of the mahogany going. As for viscosity, lots of little legs starting, but they're taking their sweet time, so good oiliness coming down the glass. Let's get in the nose. When you think about the history of what this is and how kind of interesting it is, mine in particular has a very wild turkey nose. There's a little bit of that like turkey funk. There's definitely a cherry note, but I would say that cherry is more the Buffalo Trace cherry. It's a little sweeter. It's not quite slightly sweet, but more like fresh fruit cherry as opposed to kind of cherry syrup type thing that I usually get out of Buffalo Trace. There's plenty of oak influence and a little bit of pepper. There's another like the grape that I would get out of a lot of Buffalo Trace products. You know the other thing that's really interesting? There's like teeny tiny little like honeydew melon, which I don't think I've ever had out of any whiskey. Skin on the palate. I've had this a few times before, right? But it never surprises me how upfront it has a kind of like spiciness that I would expect out of Wild Turkey. Think like if you get to like the Wild Turkey 8 years or even some of the 12 year, the exports, where it's mellowed down a little bit. It's not super spicy like standard 101. But there's this kind of spiciness. That cherry is definitely there. And so is that honeydew melon. But that cherry's, like I said, the Buffalo Trace cherry. It's a little sweeter, almost syrupy, as opposed to kind of like fresher fruit type cherry that I normally would get from a lot of like, say, the Russell's products as an example. And the oak and that spice that is there is wonderful. Just kind of brings a nice thing. There's like a tiny hint of vanilla. Okay, so when I go in for my extra sip here, the honeydew comes out really strong. I couldn't really associate what that note was until a weekend share pretty recently with my friend Simone Barkeep, a couple of our friends, and one of which being our friend Thomas, and he was like, I always get this melon note out of every Buff Turkey I've ever tried. And I was like, that's that thing I've been trying to figure out. Let's get an overall score on this thing. I'm gonna go with an 89. While I think this is really, really good, I don't know that it's necessarily worth the crazy price tags that are coming up. If you pay attention to the secondary market at all, some of the ones that are getting close to or over hazmat, they're $1,000+ and it's kind of ridiculous.